Okay, here we are again, class, Unit 4, Illustrator Typography. This will be our final project. But what I'm going to ask you to do is create a design or logo that uses strictly type to be placed in an outline of an object or shape and warped to kind of fit within the shape. And I'll show you how to do that in a bit. This one specifically is for Mr. Martin. He goes on a Cayman Island tour with his students every year, and they go scuba diving. And he's looking for a t-shirt that has the shape of the island with all of the different towns and whatnot in the design. So we're going to try to help him out with that. My good friend and colleague over at Osseo Jr. Has done this. So we're going to use a few tips from him today when doing this. And actually, we're going to borrow his worksheet that he made. So thanks, Mr. Nelson. You are great. So here's what it looks like. If you go to the crimsonart.net website, as we always do, it is right here, typography worksheet. Just go ahead and download that thing. And the worksheet looks like this. So what I want you to think about is, well, you can read this, but typography comes from the Greek word typos, from graphene, to write. Okay, so typography is the art and technique of arranging type to make written language most appealing to learning and recognition. You can read the rest of that. What that means is, type can look a lot of different ways, different typefaces, point size, line length, and so forth, depending on what you need for your design and how it can best be seen and easily read within the design. Okay, so what I want you to do first is think about things that you're interested in, something that you know about, something that jazzes you. Okay, write it down. Okay, think about some images that you'd like to use for it. For me, I'm really into ceramics and pottery, so I chose a cup, and I'll show you that in a second. For you, I don't know what that will be. Once you choose it, come up with a list of words. I just actually Googled mine, but you can also do a search or just list them out. Okay, you should come up with at least 40, all right, different words to use. However, if you are using Mr. Martin's, if you're going to do Mr. Martin's t-shirt design, just use his words here. Okay, that's all you need to do. All right, so do the worksheet first, write it out, print it out, whatever you need to do, okay, and then you're going to turn that in. Moving on. So let's get started. Students, I'm going to try to keep this short. I need to keep it under 15 minutes. Students, you're going to explore opacity settings, text warp, and mesh, also with character type settings. Okay, so with Illustrator, we'll be going through a few steps here. All right, so hang with me. For this image, I just borrowed it, copied and pasted it from Google. Okay, from the internet. And what we want to do is play around with our type. Okay, once you make a list of your words, you can just highlight the words that you have, okay, copy them, and bring them over to Illustrator. Okay, copy is Command C, or you can go to Edit, Copy, and then in Illustrator it's Edit, Paste, or Command V, okay, to paste it in. I have a bunch of just pottery terms here. They have a lot of definitions and such, but what we need to do is right now they're kind of a type graphic right now. So what we need to do is we're going to go to type. We're going to go to create outlines. The quick command for that is Shift Command O. Okay, and what that does is it kind of separates out, and let me just zoom in on this. You see what it does? It puts an anchor point on all the corners and all the curves of the letter. Okay, but what that also does is it allows us to change and manipulate the word now, just like we would normally, any kind of other shape or vector path that we make in Illustrator. So what you notice, look at, they're all kind of grouped together, so we need to fix that, right? We need to go to Object, Ungroup. That is Shift Command G on the keyboard, okay? So we've ungrouped it. See now what it does is it kind of breaks them down all into their own individual letters, which can be kind of annoying, but what we need to do is select them all, just drag over it. Well, no, you know what? We need to select one word at a time and object group, okay? And that's Command G on the keyboard. But now we can move this around, okay? All we gotta do now is play around with fonts and things. Well, we should have maybe done that before. So let's step back a couple times. That's what's great about Illustrator is that you can step back pretty much as many times as you want. Okay. What I suggest you do first, okay, I jumped the gun a little bit. What you should do first is figure out what kind of font you want. If you go over to character is, well, if you can't find it over here in my mess of stuff, go to window and go down to character. Where are you, character? Okay, type, character. There it is. I just turned it off. Let me turn it back on. Type, character. There it is. Okay. Now we should be able to see what all the different fonts look like. All right. Now, typically, good typography, think of Times New Roman, easily read. Arial, Helvetica is a very famous, font. I wouldn't necessarily pick Star Wars Jedi. That's probably not going to read well with pottery, So make good design choices. Keep it simple, keep it easily readable. I mean, Zafina, I don't think that's going to be probably easily readable. I mean, you could play around with that if you want to do. There's no, I'm going to let you kind of explore that option. Okay, I'm not going to dictate what kind of font you use. But I'm going to keep it somewhat simple and change it around a little bit. We'll just start with this one, absorbency, okay, for that one. Because clay is absorbent, so I'm going to use that one. But now, once I have it ready, I'm going to click with my, I'm going to go through here and maybe change some of these, or what you could do is kind of separate them out. If you want them separate, you could also highlight them, cut, and then click off with the arrow tool, and then paste. If you want to kind of separate them out like that, you can definitely do that. All right. Now that I have that font, we need to change the, go to type, create outlines. We're going to create the outlines of that. Now we can move it around, okay? So now, once we have that, I'm going to start applying it to my image here. I'm going to take down the opacity of my image, however. Okay, I'm going to click on my image. I'm going to just take down the opacity of this so it's not so bright and I can see my letters a little bit easier. With my word now, what I can do is go to type and object, envelope distort, and we're going to make with a mesh, okay? So we're going to make that with a mesh, and I think with rows, 4 columns is fine. We're going to be able to just now shape this word in some creative way. So what I want to do is now take this word and bend it so that it looks like, we need the direct selection tool. Don't forget about that. You need to click on the white arrow tool to select each different anchor point so that you can bend it up and around these different, to make it look like it fits inside this cup. Okay, so now I'm just going to take these anchor points and bend them like so. All right, gonna fit them all in there. And maybe, maybe for the next one, I'm going to have less rows and columns on this mesh because this is a lot of work, it seems. So maybe you just have 2. So when it says rows and columns, type in 2, because I think that might 2 rows, 2 columns, and maybe that'll be all you need for that. All right. So because we don't want to get it all muddy, we want to keep it easily read. All right. So as a matter of fact, yes, I'm going to go back and fix that. Okay, so I'll change this to 2 and 2. That might be a lot easier. Oh yeah. Okay, so I'm going to kind of bend this, kind of wrap it around the handle a little bit. Remember, each anchor point now does have a handle, so you can curve it. Let me zoom in a little bit here. Okay, so we kind of want to try to match that. Okay, bring this one down. Something like so. And you guys can play around with this. Take one more word and I'll let you guys go because I'm running on 11 minutes. So I'm going to get bone ash here. Oops. Okay, I'm going to go to type, create outlines. Nope, I'm not going to do that first. I'm going to change the font. Okay, go to my character. I'm going to choose a big thick one now. Increase the font size a little bit, and we can do that too. I mean, doesn't matter. We can increase the size after we create the create outlines. Sorry, I gotta select it. There. Create outlines. Now, if I wanted to, I can change the size of this. Hold down Shift, make it bigger. All right. Let's see what happens when we make it with a. Okay. Yep. So we want to make it with a warp. Or sorry, with a mesh. And maybe this time I'm gonna change the angle of it. Okay. So, because sometimes it's nice to have that different look in there. Don't keep it all the same. Keep it interesting. Remember, spacebar helps you move the hand. Hold on the spacebar, it's going to get you that hand. You can move it around pretty easily. Command minus is going to, shrink it out for you. Going to zoom out. So don't forget about those key commands. They're kind of helpful when working with this stuff. There you are. Come on, where are you? There you are. I'm trying to hurry. I don't know, so that might work. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, come on now. Yeah, I like that. I like the look of that. But you're gonna need to, especially when we take this cup away, we want to define this edge really well. Okay, so think about that. I need to maybe put in a smaller word here to define that edge a little bit more. Because you don't want to lose that edge. You want to get the nice contour. Once we take this, if we take the back layer and if we take down the opacity all the way to 0, we want to be able to see that the words actually make the shape of the cup. Okay? So this is video number 1. See if you can plug in these different words to create the shapes of your object. And look forward to video number 2 to describe on how we can wrap this up and finish it. Okay, good luck guys on the beginning of this.